Sasuke, I could steal your favorite character's girl if I wanted to. Uchiha, what a man. Before we get into him and all of his crooks and crevices, I did want to mention that we got a new setup. I'm standing up right now. How are we doing? All 6 feet and 4 inches of me. Up now. So I'm be coming at this video from a more professional standpoint because now I'm standing up, I'm not lounging, and I could like move my hands a bit like a politician and stuff like that. I know, you see, when it comes to the lounge, we actually had a council meeting. We revised the requirements a little bit just because I feel like there were some things that were a bit too specific and some things that certain characters actually introduced and brought to our attention. So we actually revised one of the rules and added 2 more. So the rule that was revised, and I talked about this last time, it was hitting the slut me out walk if necessary. Now it's just the walk. And you'll know, especially with this video and future ones to come, like I feel like the walk is a bit more broad. It doesn't just apply to the bounce and tempo, the slut me out one. And then the 2 that we added were the passive roster building and the slow-mo moment. Passive roster building thanks to Sungi. And then there's also the slow-mo moment, which was kind of introduced with the Thorfinn video. And then I feel like it just like made its presence be known with that song one. So I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely like, I'm seeing this and I'm feeling this. But that's all for update 1.0. So if anything changes in the future, obviously I'll talk about it then, but whatever. So with Sasuke, he's an interesting one because when I was asking on my community post about some examples for him that I could use in the video and stuff like that, there were a couple people saying he didn't deserve the spot. And it's like, I could definitely understand why some people would see it that way. I personally don't though. I feel like with the type of character arc he had, it'd honestly almost be a crime not to put him in there. I'll explain why, and I think I'm gonna do it in 2 parts. Because for him, I feel like he's had this shit since birth. And then there was a bump in the road that kind of changed the course of his life. And that was turning him from that light-skinned prodigy into a corrupt YN. And that's what I'm gonna talk about today. And then the next video, I'm gonna talk about how quite the opposite happens. And in early Naruto, we see it right off the bat with him, like he's just got that nonchalant to him. He's got that sweat. Like I feel like I could confidently say for like a lot of us dudes specifically, watching this at a young age, seeing Sasuke on the screen, I'm sitting here hoping and praying that one day I would just wake up with this haircut or something so that the ladies would be all on top of me like they're on top of him. And I'm glad that didn't happen, because if I walked into school, especially as a sweet caramel man with naturally curly hair, if I walked in with Sasuke's haircut, it probably wouldn't even be the dudes. It'd probably be the girls themselves giving me a wedgie and stuffing me in a locker and stealing my lunch money for the rest of the year. Because that shit would just look abnormal. And for the first 20 or so episodes of the show, you know, he's just kind of coming into his own. There was the Haku incident with him and Naruto, and there weren't really any striking qualities, to me at least, that early on in the show, besides the swagger he was bringing in by default. I really don't think it was until the Chunin exams where he had a run-in with the Hickey Heathen himself, Orochimaru, the wine recruiter. And I feel like it was from this point on where we saw not only his light-skin traits kind of amplified, but now also these YN traits that were implanted into him. But then it eventually got to a point where it was like, okay, I have to choose my path, to where he then eventually chose the path of the YN. And that's basically off Shippuden. And I'll get to that when I get to that. Because we have to remember, like, yes, while he did have that calm, cool, and collectedness to him, early Sasuke had a lot of hesitation to him and some cowardice, to where when during this fight he was sitting here shaking in his boots and Naruto had to save his ass a couple times, had Sakura calling his ass a coward. And then some may be thinking like, if he really was working those light skin traits like that, this wouldn't happen. But as I'm saying, this is a developmental thing. We're episode 30 deep right now. And he got turned up after this, and not because it was a shawty that was saying it to him, especially Sakura. He didn't give a damn about her, but it was because she used that word coward. So then he sticks that kunai in his mouth and cues up that so sick OST and gets to boxing. And I was looking at this fight scene, and the choreography in this shit may have been better than some of the shit we got today. I'm not even lying to you. Like, there wasn't too much talking, it was just straight hands. And Sasuke was really putting the pause on this nigga, but Orochimaru was maneuvering through this fucking forest like this was his domain. And after Sasuke eventually ties this nigga up and incinerates him, we have Sakura over here happy as hell prancing over, talking about some Sasuke gun. I completely get why he left the village. YN corruption aside, I'm leaving the village too if I'm getting this two-faced ass shit. Your ass was just calling me a coward, girl. If you don't I didn't expect that you could use the Sharingan this much at your age. That is truly very Uchiha of you. I'm impressed. It seems like I do want you after all. Fuck are you screaming for, boy? Pipe down. You know I know your brother, right? And I'm looking at you in the eyes, and you definitely had more ability than he did. I see this potential. I could smell that potential. That shit reeks. But I love a good stench. Who the fuck are you? My name is Orochimaru, the legendary recruiter of YNs. And here's what I'm gonna need you to do. If you think you want to meet me again, then you better desperately run to the top of this test and take out the 3 frauds from the Sound Village.
You're not making any sense at all, you freak! Listen, we don't ever want to see your face again, got it? Scram!
Girl, shut the fuck up. This nigga does not like you think he does. Sasuke-kun! You! What did you do to Sasuke? I gave him a little parting gift, that's all. And he tastes delightful. And knowing what I know about the Uchiha, and Sasuke specifically, he will absolutely come looking for me. For that power that he so desires, that I know he desires. Until then, I'll be waiting. So with that being said, I enjoyed seeing your various powers. Not you though, Miss Sakura. Just Naruto and Sasuke. I want nothing to do with you at all. With him biting his neck, that curse mark he gave him was just the mark of the YN. And once this happened, we could see the change immediately. Because him and Naruto are out for the count, and we see the 3 sound frauds pull up that he was talking about, taking on Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji. And we could see in real time this shit corrupting him, with him having this dream sequence of the Itachi crash out, and his younger self talking about how he could have done it if he had power in his skin ripping off with Orochimaru up in his body. So you could see the tactics that this snake is using. Even his girl knows that this is not him right now. And that's the problem, because we could compare this kind of to the Sung Jin Woo incident when he was given the system. And now granted, the system in itself was helping him acquire all those light skin traits, but it was so much power given to him all at once that when we see him going through season 1 into that first half of season 2, we see that he has that arrogance to him, and that sometimes he can't control the shit, and he just kind of goes over the top. And what's going on here is the same concept but different, because this is just straight YN energy. Like the power that was given to him here wasn't the power to go outside when it's 5:32 p.m. and pucker with their Sharingans glistening during golden hour. That's not what was given to him here. The shit that was given to him here was the power of a switch with extended mags, akimbo. And now has him thinking, why would I need to go about things that traditional way when I already got this power right here that I could just build upon? So now this shit's just fucked up indefinitely, because now we have so many contradicting things going on, and you could see it exactly with this scene. It's a symbolism of golden hour, while at the same time this nigga's saying he would sell his soul to get the power needed to do what he has to do. So it's very contradicting to what we got going on here, because we're not doing any of that. Everyone's light skin journey is different, yes, but with the shit he's saying here, if he kept going on this path and never diverged, he would not only not be accepted in the lounge, we would have to send niggas out to get him. And the thing is, I already knew that this nigga was corrupted, because when it comes to the light skin way of going about things, right, it's like when it comes to their love lives, specifically, it's like everyone goes about it in different manners, right? But the passive roster building is a big thing. That's a big thing that Sung introduced to me that may or may not be toxic. So when Sasuke resurrected here, talking about Sakura, who did this to you, I want to handle them myself, I already knew it was over. Because when it comes to the YNs, it's like they care about their loved ones, as do light skins too, but they go about it in a different way. When he's saying Sakura, who did this to you, he just wanted to pinpoint the exact nigga to give him an excuse to do damage and possibly catch a body here. Because if he was still in his light skin way of thinking, he would have probably went about it one of a couple ways. He would have either tended to her wounds first, made sure she was straight, and then just squared back up with whoever he needed to, or he would have kind of semi-ignored her, but did so in like a cool manner, like walking past her, not really caring about her injuries, but looking back, giving her a smirk, maybe a wink, to kind of acknowledge her, but not acknowledge her too much. That's how he would have went about it. But him straight out the gate saying, Sakura, who did this to you so I could beat them bloody, YN. Again, he just wanted to know who he was going after first. And you could see when he's going on his whole little tangent about how he's realizing who he truly is, this nigga said he's an Avenger. Nigga, with the way he was talking here, he was Ultron. Talking about how this curse mark was a gift from the Predator Orochimaru. And that's the delusion, that's the YN delusion speaking to him, where it's like, as long as I have this power in this world right here, specifically it's a curse mark, in our world, on Earth, that may be the 9. That may be the 9, that may be some sort of weaponry. And Zaku, in simplest terms, was an imbecile. Because if you're dealing with a deluded YN, especially one that's aggroed onto you, the last thing you want to do is antagonize them. Similarly to a fire drill, you know how they say to stop, drop, and roll? When you're dealing with a situation like this, you've got to glaze, plead, and then the last one is either run or fight, depending on how endangered your life is, and if you truthfully believe you could get away. Because with the first option being glaze, like if I was being approached by Sasuke here, I'd be like, brother, I'm gonna be honest, I just admire how many like girls you got, and even like in the midst of this whole Chunin exam shit and how we're sitting here sweating profusely, and how you still managed to come out smelling so good even after all of these strenuous physical activities, and your hair still looking as good as ever. Like, how do you do it? I really take motivation from you, not only just because I'm inspired by your hunger for battle, but I also just appreciate how you care about the others around you as well. And I think I'm just going to step back and kind of reconsider going this route with you. And if that doesn't work, if they're still aggressive, they don't care about the repercussions, they just want you gone, that's when you get on your knees and you start begging and pleading for them to just spare you and just apologize for even being in their presence. And if that doesn't work, that's when you have to make the decision whether or not to run or putting all of your life energy into this uppercut you're gonna be sending them from the ground that you're kneeling on. It's one or the other. That's just a game time decision that you kind of have to make. And if you're at the point with them where you have to kind of pick one or the other, the odds aren't looking too hot anyway. So I mean, so it's just like, this is just why you don't do what Zaku did here, because he does his supersonic slicing bullshit that sent a little gust of wind at Sasuke, and we see Sasuke dodge that effortlessly and gave that nigga a no-look neck, just like they would be doing back in high school when you get a fresh or not, doesn't even matter, but if the back of your head was showing, you better be expecting 5 fingers imprinted on that thing by the end of the day. And with the way he started dismantling Zaku here, you could see that he's still fighting like himself, like his cool techniques, him ore farming a little bit with it, like especially with that neck, but it was the intent behind his hits. Like, this was one of the most brutal early Naruto moments. This shit had Choji covering his ears like there were some M80 firecrackers going off. And look at how he looked back at Dosu. Had that man shaking like a rose toy. And thank goodness for Sakura, truly, because her being as annoying as she is to Sasuke overrided this YN corruption right here when she hugged him, because he was so baffled that she would even think of putting her hands on him that shit snapped him right out of it. So I mean, we gotta appreciate her, and I just want to make it clear, I'm not a Sakura hater by any means like that. I'm just reading the files that were presented to me by my lounge employees, that's it. So I'm just giving the breakdown, and this is what it's saying. And yeah, as I said, I feel like that curse mark kind of sped up the process of his light skin development, because he kind of had to fight this internal battle against the wine corruption with his genetic light skin ability, so you could see this shit amping up quick. We could literally see a hint of it in his first Chunin exam match, after making Zaku look like a Thanksgiving turkey, when he was getting ready to fight this dude looking like a Coraline character. Yo Roy, I'm only important for this episode of Kado, and Sasuke the light skin prodigy Uchiha have been selected. No objections, correct? That shit. Don't use a Sharingan, you hear me? So you know, if that mark of the YN on your neck gets out of control, it could endanger not only your life, but everyone's lives here. That shit is not to be messed with. Nah, I believe it. I felt it. So if that shit starts going haywire, I'll be coming in to stop it and try to counteract it with any light skin remedies I can. So good luck. And remember to make sure you hit a pucker mid-fight at least once. And we see him basically on a handicap here. So he basically just has to box this dude with iron sights, no attachments. Another thing I'm noticing, they've got to get new security in this place, because how the hell does Orochimaru keep slithering his way into this bitch? But the fact that they let this nigga get away with this like 3 times during the exams is kind of abysmal. But no, so this match starts, and then Coraline just starts life-stealing this man. And this dude could clearly only go right. He had no left hand whatsoever. And if Sasuke could even use 10% of his ninjutsu, this battle was done within 10 seconds. But then he remembered the scuffle he had with Lee earlier, where he did get humbled, which was a situation where I feel like he definitely needed that, because he was moving at a pretty speedy pace in terms of his cockiness and confidence, because there is a discrepancy between the both. And when it comes to that light skinness, like, yeah, the confidence definitely is there, but you don't want to get into the cocky territory. And he was definitely rapidly approaching that. So we appreciate Lee. Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. That's exactly what happened there. That's a quote from the one and only. But no, so once Sasuke locks in, you could smell that swagger permeating off the screen when you're watching it. He hits him with the just weaving that weak ass right hand, and then has this man shooting up like we were at Kennedy Space Center. And I said it before, this is a very, very useful light skin tactic, being light skin larceny, which is basically when you see someone and they have some good drip or a good move, or maybe they said something cool, like a new word that you want to add to your vernacular, and you know, because you have those caramel characteristics and you feel like you could pull that shit off even harder, what you do is basically you take that, tweak it, whether it be a lot of bit or a little bit, and then you make it your own and kind of go around acting as if you were the one to come up with it in the first place. And if niggas ask you to cite your sources, depending on the type of light skin you are, you can say you maybe took inspiration from another person, but the end goal of using such a move is to pull off whatever you took so well to where dudes are not taking motivation from you and thinking you're the cold one for it. And this shit had me sitting here like a proud father, because we see him losing control of the YN. If this shit took over his body while he was mid shadow leap dance, there wouldn't have been a lion's barrage. There would have been a lion's mauling, and he would have probably taken this guy by his neck airborne and dropped his ass to the pavement like fucking Doomfist. And he's able to repel this by, you guessed it, by thinking about the time when Sakura was gripping on him and just thinking about how in the future he's going to continue to be toxic to her and play games with her, and he was kind of excited for that. So then that's why he was able to lock in here. Yes, he thought about Naruto and his rival, whatever, but he was mainly thinking about the mind games he's going to be playing with Sakura for the hundreds of episodes to come, and that passive roster journey he was going to embark on with her and a couple others. And he sends this side character packing for good. He'd even last 40 episodes. Had Hickey Heathen on the sidelines leaking out of his trousers. Like this right here, I didn't like this. Like if I'm a sensei in this arena, he's getting jumped that instant. Sasuke, Sasuke, that shit was kind of, you won in a lame way though. Like, I guess you won, but look at you all battered up and shit. You damn near lost, you idiot. Well, me and you fight, that shit's gonna be easy as hell. Man, that lame ass dude, man. Sasuke, thank goodness. I think I'm ready to take this relationship to the next level. Sasuke, you are quite the man, let me tell you what, and quite the scumbag too. I mean, ref, do something. Like, I sit here working day in and day out. I already know I'm at a handicap. I get it. Some people are just gifted, but I mean, like, at least let me have my own shit. I know he tweaked it, but now everyone's going to be thinking I'm copying him when I pull this shit out during my match. And there's nothing I can do about it. I can't confront him about it. Looking at this rapid growth, he beat my ass within a week of training. I mean, I think that just means I got to train harder. And after I fight, I think my next exercise, I'm going to strap weights to my leg and have Sensei just throw me in the ocean. If I can't get my way up without taking the weights off, then I was just never meant for this lifestyle anyway. And yes, so after that, we see Kakashi take Sasuke to the back rooms and use a Lightskin lock-in technique on his YN mark to kind of contain the effects of it for the time being, which was definitely necessary. And you can't, like, then this nigga couldn't even get 2 seconds with the man before the YN recruiter was sniffing around the corner. And I mean, he is the headmaster of YN University, so I mean, it's just the aggressive, deceptive tactics of a max level YN, kind of just testing his gangster, not even fighting him, just turning around saying Sasuke will definitely come looking for me for that power. But no, so I'd say now, or the main example of everything I've been talking about, his second match, the Gaara humbling, I'd say that this was the main incident that kind of encompasses everything that I've been talking about. Damn near marked off all the boxes. And I mean, it was a beautiful sight to see until it wasn't. And this is one of those moments that just piss you off. And that's exactly what it's supposed to do. Because we see him and Kakashi wait until the sun is shining just right and the leaves are falling at the perfect angle just so they could pull up in the fashion that they did. And the thing is, I don't even think they were late for real. I think this was a choreographed move to make his draft stock go up so he could maybe go #1 overall. I think this is all Kakashi's doing, because we have to also take into consideration and not forget that this nigga is also a veteran Lightskin himself. Because look at the work the cameramen were doing too. Like, he definitely paid them to get all the angles right, just to exaggerate this shit for the live broadcast for the niggas that weren't even able to get in. And the thing is, if I was in the audience, I would be pissed as hell, because it's like I'm sitting here working Ichiraku ramen, graveyard shifts on the weekend, 9 to 5 throughout the week, bussing tables, just so I can get tickets to this once a year event, sitting in the nosebleeds, and Cock and Sauce had me waiting for this match just so they could ore farm a little bit. I'd be pissed off. And you best believe I'd be getting at least half of my ticket price reimbursed, because I paid for blood to be spilled, not a circus hat. If I wanted that, I would just go watch Dragon Ball. That's a joke. I know, before niggas get the I'm a Dragon Ball enjoyer. I haven't watched it like that. I just wanted to make some people's hair stand up. I apologize. But no, so the thing is, it's not even just them that are guilty. It's Toothpick here too. He's instigating more of this light skin behavior, because we know exactly who this man is. He doesn't need an introduction, especially after dropping off the battle bus like that. Why do you have to ask him his name so he can hit this voice line talking about Sasuke Uchiha? We know who is. Ring the bell, bruh. We start the match. And he had this place going ballistic. This shit was like when Edge returned for the Royal Rumble. Had Rock Lee's crippled ass standing up for this. I mean, like, this looks like he made it in time. Lee-san! Girls, don't act like you're excited to see me. You know why you're smiling right now. Y'all weren't cheering for me then, so don't cheer for me now. Y'all missed the bus or something? I thought you weren't even coming because your ass was scared to take me on. Databayo. Man, Naruto, if you don't shut the fuck up, we should just really jump this fool for trying to act all cool, taking the spotlight off of us in this place. Like, I put my life on the line out there fighting that semi-cute girl. Actually, she was kind of... That first round, you win it? Man, stop playing with me, boy. You know I want that shit. Hey, don't get too excited now, big man. I'll pull each individual whisker off your fucking face, loser. Watch how I make a sandcastle out this buster. I know it's somewhat rude to be showing up all flashy like this, and we were like, it was the entrance, you know, it was a good one. Dare I say one of the best in Chunin exam history, but more importantly, is Sasuke, was he disqualified? So your habit of tardiness rubbed off on him, huh? That sucks. But if it's for you, Kakashi the copy light skin, I mean, man, I take inspiration from your nonchalant brother. That's why I got this toothpick in the mouth and type shit. So I mean, if it was anyone else, they would have been disqualified and sent not even to Genin level, somewhere under that. I low-key just want to promote him because I like you so much, big man. But I feel like for the public, we kind of have to have this match. But I mean, I'll be lenient with Sasuke. Like, if he wants to use like some forbidden jutsu or some shit, like low-key though, like I'll let that shit slide. And I'll just be harsher on the rules. So I mean, if he's getting even an inch out of line, I'll just call a flagrant, get him out the game. You know, that's how I'll be operating. So no, he has not been disqualified. After Toothpick is glazing the hell out of Kakashi, that's when we see Gaara looking down on this dude. And I would say that young Gaara, aside from Orochimaru's YN curse mark, I'd say young Gaara, when he was forced into that situation to catch his first body, I think that was the birth of the first authentic YN that we see in the show at that time. And side note, you just have to feel bad for Lee during this whole thing because both of his crushes over here geeking over a nigga who hasn't even fought yet. And then it was like from this point on, Lee never even got his shine again like that, really. Him getting this injury here was like similar to how like Derrick Rose tore his ACL, and like he was still very good afterwards, but he was just never the same as his prime. But no, so that aside, we get this match underway, and as soon as this sensei calls Gaara down and we see him making this face, we see that in that moment, this YN has decided on murder. No way around it. If that's what he decided in this moment with this smile here. And this nigga Conqueror was trying to give him tips and tricks on how to approach this. And if he said 2 more words, he was getting turned into that puppet that he had on his back. Sasori would have probably came in and swooped his ass up and turned him into one of his own. And I'll admit, I remember watching this as a kid being afraid for Sasuke's life because I didn't really understand like what his character entailed and what his coolness entailed. So it's like seeing Gaara walk through this hallway catching 2 bodies, breathing all up in the mic like and him just leaving them without a trace, dead ass like hurt my stomach as a child. I do remember. Had Naruto and Shikamaru. Look at this face Shikamaru is making. He looks like he just found out that his parents got to the mailbox with his report card in it before he did, and has this nigga Naruto sitting here mouth open like he's a wax statue. So seeing this monster coming up to fight our light-skinned prodigy, I just didn't know how to feel about it. And these guys just start going at it. It's a great showdown at first. Sasuke's hitting some mean maneuvers. Gaara's just doing Gaara things. And when I saw Sasuke hit Lee's shit and cue that OST up, I was like, no, the hell he's not doing this light skin larceny again, but he damn sure was. And he was giving that nigga Gaara PTSD and socked that idiot in his mouth. And look at the form on this jab. That's textbook. If you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball. And he was hitting this man Lee's pose too, so he was taking this larceny to another level that I have yet to see with our current members. And this was at such a young age too. And it's like, think of the type of shit he's gonna be on later. Maybe, who knows, stealing dudes' eyes and shit, I don't know. But no, he started speed blitzing Gaara and working the fuck out of him, grabbing him by his backpack straps and kneeing his ass in his diaphragm to where Gaara felt pushed up against the wall and trapped himself in his ball of evil essence. And as I said, Gaara was coming with the intent to kill. He didn't care about Conqueror's buck-ass plan. He wanted Sasuke off this planet. So when he went in his absolute defense, he was trying to spawn in Shikaku and cause calamity. And what does our light-skinned prodigy do in response to this absolute defense? He sees it as a chance to produce an even greater offense. And he back handsprings up that wall, and we see him pop that shit over for the first time. And we see him penetrate that defense and damn near take off Gaara's head. And we know what that leads to. One of the most iconic, I think, just voice lines for me personally, like of all time when it comes to anime, where the nigga starts screaming about his blood. I would do it right now. I really would, but I got family home and I'm not trying to cause a scene, and I wouldn't want them coming to my room thinking I somehow got my period or something. And we know after that, obviously, chaos breaks loose. That nigga's a hybrid Shukaku variant. Orochimaru is getting freaky with the 3rd Hokage, and dudes are just falling asleep left and right. But I feel like where the shit just snapped for him when he decided to really commit to this path of the YN was when his elder light-skinned brother pulled back up on his block and showed him what being nonchalant really meant. And he showed him all right, because he was just mantling the fuck out of Sasuke. After the performance he just put on like 3 episodes ago, this was a humbling that I guess he may have needed as well, but it's like, it just sucked to see. Get your ass over here. Don't you dare pull up on me trying to act all cool and shit. Do you see this cloak I got on, bitch? I really got that shit on. You wouldn't even believe the amount of shotties I've been getting since I left this bobo ass village. And what is it that you got? A girl with a big ass forehead and cotton candy hair? Give me a goddamn break. Don't even get me started with those shorties from the Rain Village. They were making it rain all right. All over the place. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. But no, that aside, I know I'm walking up in your quarters and your village, but you have to understand who roam these streets first. You will never have that swag like I do. You will never put that shit on like I do. And you will never have as much nonchalant as I. Throw that dream out the fucking window. And you know what, fuck it, let me traumatize you some more. And yeah, no, that was definitely the breaking point, because that nigga left that hallway and started packing his bags that night. He said, I'm out. He said, I'm out of this bitch. I need to figure this out. Was calling his Uber and everything. And when he was walking to his pickup location, he ran into Sakura on his way there. And you see, Sakura was a very interesting case because, again, first day she saw this nigga, it didn't matter what he did. She was like infatuated with him. And we see her really showing that here as he's walking away, leaving the village here. She's putting all her cards out on the table. Sasuke, why are you always silent like that? You won't tell me one thing. It's like, since we've been together, it's like you're always so, like, you don't tell me anything. Like, what? What on God's green earth do I have to tell you, Shawty? Why are you acting like we're dating or something? And it's like, I know we're teammates, but you're sitting here crying like as if you're... Maybe I missed the memo. And maybe this curse mark really does have me fucked up, because are we dating or something? I'm just confused. Like, I keep telling you to keep your nose out of my business and to stop bothering me over everything I do. But then it's like I look back and I see the residue of my business all over your nose every single time. I make you dislike me all the time, don't I? Bingo. What's his name-o? I mean, I'm glad we can find it understand. I'm glad we can find it understand it here. Do you remember? We just became Genin and the 3-man squads were assigned. You and I were alone for the very first time here at this very spot, actually. I think about this all the time. And you got mad at me. And I was talking nonsense about someone's pet. I don't even remember, but you called me annoying. And that stuck with me, Sasuke. I think about it all the time, you know. Do you remember that? I don't remember that, actually. Yeah, no, I guess that was a long time ago after all. But I mean, it did all begin that day. You, me, and I mean, I guess Naruto and Kakashi, but I mean, you and me, primarily, you know. We went on so many missions together. And we did all that. And I mean, like, yes, it was hard sometimes, but it was so much fun. You didn't think that way? Like, I know about your family, Sasuke, but revenge? That shit will just bring you to a darker place, honey. That shit wouldn't make you happy. It wouldn't make me happy. I mean, I just had. Yeah, you know, that's the thing, Sak. Me not care about your happiness. And the thing is, like, I'm completely different from y'all. I'm walking a road that's incompatible with the rest of you. I got my own path to forge. It's a thin one. Not space for multiple parties. I need a girl that's gonna match my toxicity, but at the same time, if someone's pressing up on me that I don't even need to take my hands out of my pocket, she's drilling them for me. You know, that's the type of girl I need, and I know you're not that. So you're just gonna isolate yourself again, Sasuke? The main point I was trying to make, bringing back to that, is that you told me that solitude was a very tough thing that time, Sasuke. I mean, damn, just give me a chance. Like, I know exactly how that feels now. I have both family and friends, but if you were no longer here, Sasuke, for me, it would be the same shit as solitude. It really would be. Let me say it again. I think that headband is wrapped around back of your skull way too tight. But, girl, we are not dating. We were never friends. We were co-workers. That's the reality of it. If without me you have solitude, then with me you have delusion. So as I said, from here on out, we are going to be walking different paths. And I'm not going to be on yours. You are not going to be on mine. And that is final. But Sasuke, I love you so very, very much. Sasuke, I love you with everything in me. If you were with me, I found a way to make every day fun. I could change you. Sasuke. I'll do anything for you. So please, I'm begging you, I'm on my knees. I'll kill the Hokage right now if I have to, Sasuke, please. I'll do anything. I'll even help you with your revenge. I'll make it happen somehow, I promise you. Please, just stay here with me. Please. And if that doesn't work, then take me with you. Girl, you ain't even know what love is. We're 13 years old. You better. And after everything we just talked about, you're still using words and verbiage as if I was interested in this relationship in the first place. Go to sleep, clock back in for your mission tomorrow, and do not bother me. Hey, y'all, cue my outro song. I'm out of here. Y'all stay easy. And by the way, I lied. I did remember that day. And exactly what I said back then stands now. You really are annoying. You're not even the most annoying person in the village, in my life. Sakura, whatever your last name is, I barely even remember the shit. But when it comes to you, Sakura Hopscotch, I'm dead ass serious when I say this. You are the most annoying person I have ever met in my life. And I think, to my old age, till I'm geriatric in a retirement home, I think I think you will be #1 on that list with flying colors. Real deal. It's so impressive that I'm damn near falling in love with you now, because that's like I'm never meeting a woman like you again. I mean, like, damn. And you see, the shit Sakura's spewing, been there, done that. I really felt her in this moment. And with the shit, I'm begging on my knees. Don't even get me started. I'm begging on my knees. Don't go. they're going. Once you pull the I'm begging on my knees, they're out the door. And she just starts firing off unreasonable things that she'd do for him. Talking about, I'll light this village on fire and take the Hokage hostage just for your love. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about, girl? We have a filler mission to go help a traveler deliver a loaf of bread to a nearby village tomorrow. We're not doing all of that. And it's like, I know he still had that, his actual side within him when he knocks her ass out after saying thank you and he puts her on the bench. I didn't notice that as a kid, understanding that scene of him showing that he's still himself. He is still that light-skinned prodigy. His mind is just skewed. Because if you really think about it and dissect this scene frame by frame, this was one of the most toxic but caramel things he did in early Naruto. Because this was just a masterclass performance of a toxic variant of passive roster building. Because we see him just let her pour her heart out. He gives her the opportunity to speak and say what she has to say and just put all her cards out on the table. And then within seconds, he flips that table over and throws a chair at her. Because he then immediately goes to say that throughout his tenure at the Leaf, that she was annoying his ass so bad that he would have nightmares about it. So then after leaving her in that state of shock, he then teleports behind her to then whisper all up in her ear talking about, thank you, Shadi, I really do appreciate your presence and everything you've done for me, but I just gotta go now, alright? With that swagger to it, and then just and then like a gentleman, not even leaving her on the pavement, putting her on the bench as if she was taking a nap. And this is that passive roster manipulation. That is, again, I don't condone this and I don't recommend going about life this way. But the light skin game is the light skin game. As I said, there are very different ways to go about it, and this is just the path he's chosen at this very moment in time. We know after that, obviously, there's the whole Sasuke retrieval thing, and him and Naruto running like an authentic fade for the first time. And there wasn't anything really lounge-worthy from him really, just because it's like we see that he just let the shit take his ass over during that fight. But there was something actually very critical at the end of that fight that I feel like you could have missed if you were torn up emotionally just due to the emotional weight of the fight. That's when he's standing over Naruto, and a slightly golden hour is activated, and we see it closing out. And that's just not due to coincidence. That's dead ass him closing that shit out and then activating the rain as he looks up in the sky to signify his transition over mentally to this now Wyan mentality. Dropping down to his knees, getting up in his face, hitting him with one more light skin stare. I mean, that's like as poetic as it gets. Like, it was a beautiful thing, and it's like, obviously, and you don't want to see him transition over like this, but this is just the beginning of his story.